Yo, what is good YouTube? It's your boy Motivzz back with another video. Now today's video, y'all better get ready because this story time is about to be juicy, wet, watery, and spectacular. Like, I know the last story time I made was pretty juicy if you guys haven't seen that one already. But this video and this story time, it's going to be juicy, wet, watery, and spectacular. So without further ado, grab your munchies, grab your Kit Kats, because we ain't taking no breaks. So today's story time is going to be about my experience in a Muslim private school. Now this takes me back to the summer of 2016. You know what I'm saying? Pokemon Go was popping at the time, and that was all I cared about. You know what I'm saying? I was just playing Pokemon Go every single day. So my father, he saw me like, addicted to my phone, just going outside, catching Pokemon every single day. And he was like, son, you know what? You need to actually experience life. So I'm going to put you in this private school. Now, at the time, I didn't think it was a private school. Like, I was not informed it was a private school. I thought it was a camp. He was telling me it was a camp, right? So when I went to the camp, bro, I just saw this, like, big, giant, like, billion-dollar mansion. Like, I don't know where they got the money for this place, but it was huge. But it was kind of sketchy because this place was literally, like, in the middle of nowhere. There was, like, barely any roads. The backyard was literally just, like, sand and dirt. And I was, like, kind of sketched out, you know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, like, there is no, like, humans anywhere in, like, a mile radius or miles of radius. So I didn't know what was going on. So I basically trusted my dad because it seemed like he knew what he was doing, right? But he didn't know what I was actually getting into. So on the very first day I went into this private school, I thought I was only going to be in there for, like, maybe a few hours. Then my dad would pick me up and I would go back home with him and play video games. But Motivzz did not know what he was getting into because that night I literally cried myself to sleep. I just had, like, so much emotion, like, stirred up in me. Like, I was confused, I was sad, I was angry. Like, I did not know why I was in a room with a bunch of random strangers I've never seen before. The students in this private school had to share rooms. Like, I'm talking about, like, there was 2 bunk beds per room. So I was literally sleeping on the top bunk bed. And I remember I would just be facing the wall and I was crying and crying. And literally, the teacher literally, like, had to come in and actually, like, comfort me. But, like, I did not know why I was here. Like, why was I in this room, in this school, out in the middle of nowhere? Like, most of these students were older than me. Some of them were even in their mid-20s. Now, there were a few things I had to get used to because this was a Muslim private school. So that means I had to follow the practices of the Muslim religion. Now, for example, I had to pray 5 times a day. So literally, before the sunset would even, like, come up, before the sun would come up, I would have to be praying. And then after breakfast, I would pray. After lunch, I would have to pray. Before dinner, I would have to pray. And before going to sleep, I would have to pray. And basically, like, this was very hard for me to do because I never knew, like, how to pray beforehand. So from going from this to praying 5 times a day was very extreme for me. Remember, every time before we had to pray, we literally all had to wash our hands and feet in the sink. So think about it like this. Like, literally, like, say if you're, like, fully clothed, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to really, like, wash your feet, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of weird, like, just to wash your feet in the sink and your hands and then go to pray. Like, this was very weird to me to do this every single day. And I remember, like, one of the oldest students would come into our rooms every single day and just knock on the door, shake us, wake us up, and he would be like, Motivzz, get ready, we have to pray. And I'm over here, like, half asleep on, like, 2 hours of sleep, wondering, like, where am I? Like, why am I here? Like, what is going on? Like, we had to get fully dressed up nice and, like, wash our hands and feet, like, first thing in the morning. Now, this was, like, very hard for me, especially, like, when I actually started to pray, bro, I was literally falling asleep. Like, the teacher was literally next to me praying, and he saw that I was, like, falling asleep, and he was like, all right, Motivzz, you could go to sleep now. Like, I was the only one that was able to go to sleep early because, like, I was literally, like, falling asleep mid-prayer. So now the other crazy things was that we had no devices at all. So, like, I went from playing Pokemon every single day to literally having no devices at all. Like, no phone, no DS, like, nothing at all. Like, only on Sundays they would give us our phones just for, like, maybe a few hours. And so, like, I remember, like, we would have to be in our uniforms, like, basically all day. Like, especially if we went to the mosque. I don't know if you, like, Christians know what a mosque is. It's basically, like, a church for Muslims. And basically, we would go there to pray, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I was so confused because I didn't know what all this writing was. Like, there was all this, like, Arabic writing all over the walls. And I didn't even know, like, who I was actually praying to. And, like, I remember, like, when we went to the basement of, like, the mosque or whatever it was, there was, like, a building next to it, right? And literally, like, this is, I guess, where, like, all the food was. Because I opened, like, this big, like, giant freezer, and I just saw, like, a whole, like, lamb or something just like in there, like completely frozen. I got scarred. I was like, yo, what the, like, what is going on here? Literally the only time we would spend our free time is literally just like either praying or like actually like playing together. Like all the students would play together, like whether it was like soccer or like basketball, like any type of sport. Like I remember the very first time they took me shopping in like some like big store. I think it was like Kohl's or something. I don't know, but like I just saw like all these like fancy uniforms and ties. I started throwing them in the basket. I started throwing like socks, shirts, pants, you name it. And the bill was like over a few $100s. And they paid for it. But in the end, I later found out that my dad was actually paying for it. Since this is a Muslim private school, they had to teach me like how to read the Quran, right? And that is basically in Arabic. So they literally had like one of the teachers teach me one-on-one in a classroom on how to read Arabic. And I remember I'd literally like see the alphabet and try to sound it out. And I remember I got so like tired and bored like of just like not being able to understand the writing or like the reading and everything. I literally fell asleep in front of the teacher. And then when I woke up, bro, I was like, imagine like I just fall asleep right in front of him. I'm like, and then I wake up. He's right there. He's literally like just still sitting right in front of me. And then he's like, are you done sleeping? Bro literally was a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare because I literally woke up and I just saw him right in front of me still. Like I did not know how many hours passed. He was literally just still sitting right in front of me after I took my nap. Now after a few weeks of not being able to like play video games or actually go on the internet, because you know what I'm saying, I was basically like raised through the internet. I was always online. Like I always had like a computer or some type of device to always play video games on. So when I didn't have video games, when I went weeks without video games, I snapped. I was like, bro, I gotta get back on the grind. Like, I can't be missing out on all these video games. So you know what I did? I literally walked down the stairs in this big-ass mansion, and I went into the teacher's office. And on the teacher's office, like, in his office was a PC, right? Like, this is where he did all his work and stuff and whatnot. And I literally remember, like, I went on the PC, and I just started playing Agario. And when I was playing Agario, bro, like, I was playing for, like, at least, like, an hour or two. And I would just see the students literally looking through, like, the glass window door. And they were just looking at me. They were all like looking through the screen. They were like, their faces were like shocked. They were like, there's no way Motivzz is actually doing this. I'm literally just playing the game. I'm looking at them. I'm just like smiling back. I'm like, yeah, yep. I'm on the grind. I'm playing. And then the teacher walks in. And at that point, like all the students literally left because they did not want to be anywhere near the computer because they knew if they were going to be there, they were going to be in trouble. So the teacher literally walked in on me as I was playing the games. And he just smiled to me and he just said, all right, Motivzz, just make sure you're not late for prayer. The teacher actually did tell me like to not play video games anymore on his computer because, you know what I'm saying, like not everyone had that privilege to actually play games in the school. You know what I'm saying? Like no one was able to play anything, like unless it was on Sundays. Everyone got their phone back, like just to text their like parents or something. But besides that, no one was able to play any video games. So since I couldn't play any more video games, like I couldn't go to the office and play Agario. I did not have like a phone to play on, you know what I'm saying? We only got our phones for maybe like a few hours just to text our parents and stuff. So I was like, if I can't play video games here, I'll just bring the video games to me. So I literally called my dad and I told him to bring my 3DS. So when he brought my 3DS, I remember I would play like in the bed, like I would hide under the covers and just be playing my 3DS for hours. Other students saw me playing on my 3DS and they were jealous because they were just like sitting there like playing books or playing chess, and I was over here like indulging in my video games. So I eventually did make a deal with them. Like I would let them use my 3DS in exchange for like money or snacks. Every single student that used my 3DS literally watched League of Legends YouTube videos, except for one. Now there was this one kid in particular that none of the students liked. His name was Muhammad. I'm pretty sure that's like a pretty common name. I don't know if that's true or not, but his name was Muhammad, and none of the students liked him. But I didn't like any of the students that much, so we kind of had something in common. So I literally became best friends with him. Like I kind of felt bad for him because none of the students really effed with him, so I let him use my 3DS. But I remember there was this one day where I walked into the room, like he was in the room alone on my 3DS, and I walked in and he was watching the hub. Bro was literally watching two people go crazy on my 3DS. Like I did not know what to think of this. And then bro literally he like turned the 3DS and he's like, look Motivzz, look what I'm watching. I did not know. I was like, yo, what the like what am I actually watching? Like, is this dude for real? Like bro literally invited me to watch the hub with him on the DS. Like how down bad do you have to be? Like I was like, what the like, what is going on here? And since I was the only one that found out about this, I remember he was like, please, Motivzz, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone. I'll do anything. I'll give you money. I'll do you favors. I'll give you snacks. I'll give you extra food. I'll do anything. Just please don't tell anyone. But I did not realize that this dude had an addiction, because every time we had to pray, he'd be like, yo, Motivzz, let me see your 3DS real quick. Oh, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. I need to see a video on your 3DS real quick. Please, let me use it. I'm like, okay. Like, you just gotta, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, pay me back, you know what I'm saying? He gave me a little money. I was like, all right, fine, bet you do what you gotta do. Bro, he was probably stroking his meatsicle. The more time I stayed in this private school, the more weirder it got, because this is where they started to actually like teach the students, because they would bring teachers from public schools into this building, and the teachers would think that we're students from other schools all coming together, but we actually were all living together. Teachers of the Muslim school would literally tell us that we could complete all of high school within a matter of months. And I was like, yo, that sounds crazy, right? Like, I could literally finish 4 years of work within a few months. But then I'm like, wait, this place is already too sketchy. This can't be, this is too good to be true. But then I remember I would be on the phone with my mom or grandma, and I'm like, I can't like stay here anymore. Like, they look nice on the outside, but literally like this whole place is sketchy. And I remember the teacher literally invited basically my whole family to this house. Like, I'm talking my little sister, my dad, my grandma, and my mom. Now, obviously, when they entered this huge mansion of a building, it was like nice. It was appealing to the eye. Like, they had like a fish tank, their own private like kitchen, their own office, like chandelier and everything. So obviously, it looked very nice. But then we actually like sat down with them, and you know what I'm saying, we had dinner with the teachers. And after that, my mom and grandma, they knew that like something was going on. They all entered the building, right? This big, huge mansion of a building. It was nice. It was appealing to the eye, right? Like, there was a whole like giant fish tank, private kitchen, giant office, chandelier. Everything looked so nice on the outside. But then we actually like sat down and had dinner with them. We had dinner with the Muslim teachers, you know what I'm saying? My family and them. And so after the dinner, my mom and grandma knew that something was sketchy. After this meeting, I convinced my mom, my dad, and my grandma to take me out of this school. And thank God I did, because I'm not saying that like in a disrespectful way, because, you know what I'm saying, I respect my Muslims. I respect everyone, right? But they were literally gonna take me to Turkey like within like the next few weeks. Like, if I didn't leave at that time, literally like a few weeks later, they all flew out to Turkey, and they are still currently living there. You know what I'm saying? I love Turkey. I want to go to Turkey one day. I've never been there, but you know what I'm saying, my dad is from there, and I really want to experience like the Turkey culture and everything, and see everything that Turkey has to offer. But if I like stayed in that private school like any longer, if I didn't get out at that time, bro, I wouldn't have probably met like half the friends I knew today. Shoot, I probably wouldn't even be making this video. I don't know, like my life would have been completely different. But I thank God that I was able to make the right call. Well, I would say that God was able to make the right call, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. This video was not made by any means to disrespect Muslims, because I actually respect them more than almost any religion out there, because, you know what I'm saying, they are actually disciplined. They actually practice what they preach. They actually pray 5 times a day. They actually like fast. You know what I'm saying? That's what Ramadan is for. But you know what I'm saying? I'm a follower of Christ. I'm a follower of Jesus. I'm a follower of Christianity. So, you know what I'm saying? I have my differences, I have my own beliefs, but I still respect them. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and let me know down in the comment section below if you guys have had like any weird experience with any other religions, or tell me what religion do you follow, because to be honest, I don't see Christianity as a religion. I see it as just like a relationship with Christ, or a relationship with God. It's not like a religion where you have to pray 5 times a day, or else, you know what I'm saying, like you're committing sin. No, my boy. As long as you have that faith, as long as you have that friendship with God, that's all you need. Like, you cannot force anyone to love someone else, right? That's the same thing with God. You can't force that love. You have to earn it. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video, and remember to keep surpassing your limits, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.